What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back to my unit review series for Fire Emblem Heroes. This time I'm going to be taking a look at Arden, aka Man with Power of Pursuit, and in this video I will be telling you guys how good he is and what are some of his best inheritance options. We will also take a look at some of his best teammates who can support him and some counters that you should watch out for when using him. So Arden is a reward from Genealogy of the Light Tempest Trial, which is going on right now, so that makes him a free unit and he's a solid free unit to have. Let's take a look at his 5-star stats. His HP stat is the highest in the entire game and he can take a lot of hits because of it, and not only that, with the help of Summoner Support and HP plus 5 Sacred Seal, it can be further boosted to 70 HP, which is a lot. His base attack is 36, which is quite high, and with Brave Sword Plus, he hits 44 attack, which is good for a brave weapon user. He has got the second highest attack for a sword unit after Crom, and he can hit extremely hard because of it, and with the help of his Slot B skill, so that is good. His speed is the lowest in the game along with King Zephiel, which is to be expected because he's just a tanky armored unit with high attack. His base defense is highest in the game, and this makes him extremely bulky unit who can do really well versus almost all melee range units and even take hits from some lance units. Another merit of having this high defense is that he can abuse specials like Igneous and Bonfire to get a lot of extra damage and kill a lot of opponents. His resistance is extremely bad, so he cannot really take any kind of magical hits. Even green mages like Nino, Sonia and Daedra can do a lot to him, and of course because of his pathetic speed, pretty much every mage is gonna be doubling him except for maybe minus speed Sophia. His weapon is Brave Sword Plus, which has got great synergy with his follow-up ring skill, and he can always caught attack with the help of that skill in the player phase as long as enemy does not have Sword Breaker or Weary Fighter. Arden has got a very high attack stat, so he's a good Brave Sword user. His Slot B skill is an exclusive skill which only he can have and it cannot be inherited to anyone. It's follow-up ring and it's a reference to Pursuit Ring from Fire Emblem 4. This is an incredible skill which lets him quad attack in player phase and in enemy phase lets him attack twice. So in enemy phase you can say that it works like quick riposte, but of course it's a better quick riposte in the enemy phase. It's what makes Arden very good unit. However, it only works as long as he has got more than 50% HP. His Slot C skill is Drive Defense 2, which is also a pretty great skill to have due to its range, and he can also have the skill at 4-star rarity. His special is Pavis, and honestly it's an overkill on a unit who's this bulky. You're better off running something like Igneous or Bonfire, to be honest, as those are much more offensive and can get him a lot of kills. His rating is one of the highest in the game due to being an armored unit, and him having a more expensive Slot C skill by default and Drive Defense 2 can give you more arena points. Overall, I would say that Arden is a top tier unit due to his incredible follow-up ring skill and his high attack stat. He's a monster actually when it comes to offense, and not a lot of units can survive his quad hits in the player phase. He can be a great unit both in player phase and in the enemy phase thanks to the follow-up ring. Especially with the release of Guidance Sacred Seal, he can be more viable now, and his default kit is also good, so budget sets are possible on him. Getting him isn't really that hard because even if you lack all of the 40% bonus units, a 4-star Arvist is enough to get this reward with the help of the auto battle feature and the bonus points which you get every day twice. So be sure to get the 5-star version of Arden. Some people are thinking of inheriting his Drive Defense skill to other units since he has that skill available at 4-star rarity, but I probably wouldn't do it because he's a limited unit, and with Grand Hero Battle units you can think about sacrificing them for their skills, as there can always be a rerun of them, but we do not know when these Tempest Trial units will return. So that's why do not hastily inherit his Drive Defense to a unit just like that unless you really need it. Arden is going to be facing competition from Black Knight for an Armor Emblem Team's red slot, since Black Knight has got his broken special known as Black Luna and Distant Counter built into his weapon. But if you're running Hector and Distant Counter FE, then I think you can run Arden over Black Knight, since 2 units in Distant Counter FE and Hector are enough to check the range units. Arden is also a great choice for Summoner Support because he can become more powerful and more bulky, which is great for a unit like him who can function both in the player phase and in the enemy phase. Some Arden enthusiasts might be merging him to +1 after upgrading his 4-star version, so if you do that and merge him, then he will be gaining +1 HP and +1 defense point. Now let's take a look at some of his best inheritance options. This is a more offensive set for him, which makes good use of his high attack stat. Fire Boost from Luke is the most premium and the best offensive option for Arden, and due to his high HP stat, he can easily make good use of this skill. And since Fire Boost is active in the enemy phase, unlike Death Blow, so it's certainly amazing for him as he can double attack in the enemy phase and quad attack in the player phase. Not to mention, Arden is just so tanky on the physical side that he will not have too much trouble staying in the Fire Boost range as long as he does not get hit with a magical attack. And he can also activate this skill against units in Tempest Trial because they have got inflated HP stats, so not a lot of units can activate these boost skills against them. But Arden can do that because of his high HP stats and because of the +10 HP bonus that he gets because of being a Tempest Trial bonus unit. And attack +3 is a budget option that a lot of people can use because it's consistent and it gives you the attack stat in both player phase and in the enemy phase. I'm gonna be running this option myself. Death Blow is a decent option, but it does not work in the enemy phase. But if you are going to be using him on a guidance team or an Armor Emblem team, then Death Blow is really good, and Arden can kill a lot of enemies in the player phase. But since he's a massive tank, Fire Boost is a bit better for him because he can do more damage in the enemy phase as well. His default slot B and slot C skills are fine, but if you're running him on an Armor Emblem team, then something like Hone Armor or Ward Armor can be run on him, of course. And for his assist skill, you want to run Swap. It's a great assist skill for armored units, and in my opinion it is slightly better than Pivot. Igneous and Bonfire both can be run on him, but Igneous is more suited for player phase as he will be able to proc that and nuke someone, but Igneous will not proc in the enemy phase in that same round and will be simply charged up. However, Bonfire in enemy phase will proc unlike Igneous and many times result in a KO. This is of course assuming that the enemy does not have Sword Breaker skill or Varied Fighter skill, otherwise he will not be able to quad attack or double attack in the enemy phase. Bonfire is slightly better as it can be procced in both player phase and in the enemy phase, but Igneous allows him to kill so many units and even a lot of the lance units as he receives 32 points of additional damage with Igneous and only 20 points with Bonfire, so it's up to the usage of your Arden. Honestly, with Igneous, he's one of the scariest units in the game in the player phase. Ether is also a great special for him as he can always proc that in the player phase if he quad attacks an enemy, and this helps him stay above the 50% HP range and stay in the follow-up ring range. For his Sacred Seal, Panic Ploy is one of the best options available for him as buffs and Horse Emblem teams are really common in the metagame, and due to his high HP stat he can proc Panic Ploy on every single unit in the game. Brash Assault is also a Sacred Seal which you can run on him to make sure that he can quad attack the melee units all of the time in the player phase, as when he's knocked out of the follow-up ring range, he will be in the Brash Assault range which is below 50% HP, so that can be done on him. Attack +3 is just a very solid option on him due to his follow-up ring, and he can also run Attack Smoke Sacred Seal to further increase his longevity and take on a lot of enemies due to it. This also indirectly helps him stay in the follow-up ring range, and that is pretty good. Deflect Magic can also be run on him so that he can survive some mages with his huge HP stat. It's easy to say that you shouldn't leave him in the range of mages to begin with, but with his poor 1 movement, it can be hard for him to get out of the range in time, so that's why Deflect Magic could sometimes save your Deathless run, so it can be run on him as well. Arden also has a very premium set with Steady Breath and Ether. With this set, he does not need to run Brave Sword as it does not have very high might and it does not really do too much damage in the enemy phase compared to other swords. And this set is mainly for enemy phase, so he can run Sling Edge Plus from Saber or Zanbato's Sword from Grey to do a lot more damage in the enemy phase than Brave Sword. And with Zanbato's Sword, he can even kill Blue Cavaliers, and even though this is an enemy phase skill set, he can also kill the very popular Reinhardt if he initiates an attack on him thanks to his follow-up ring, so that's pretty neat. Arden has got monstrous bulk, so he can abuse Ether with Steady Breath. His follow-up ring also helps him with that. Ether special works in favor of his follow-up ring, of course. His Sacred Seals are same as the last set, and this is pretty expensive skill set to be honest. You could also run Varied Fighter with his offensive skill set, but honestly his niche is with follow-up ring and he has got physical bulk to easily take hits. You should not inherit Distant Counter on him because he has got very low res. If you do inherit Distant Counter, then he will barely check the Green Blade Tome mages, and Zephiel is honestly just a better candidate for Distant Counter due to his higher resistance. So those were his best Gunnerton's options. Now let's move on to his best teammates. Dalthea's Dark Aura plus 6 attack buff is insane for a unit like Arden, and Arden can also take physical hits for Dalthea, so those two do work together pretty well. Amelia's Armor March is also a nice skill for Arden and fixes his poor 1 movement. Due to his low resistance, he's extremely susceptible to any kind of magic, so that's why magic chicks like Ines and Felicia can pretty much take on every mage in the game, while Julia, Sonia and Daedra can take care of the common Reinhardt. He works really well on an Armor Emblem team with Distant Counter Effie and Hector, who can take care of the mages for him and also give him buffs. Passive healers with Reciprocal Aid, Ardent Sacrifice and Breath of Life are best teammates for him as they can always keep Arden healthy and in the follow-up ring range. Flying units who can use Guide and Sacred Seal can help solve Arden's poor 1 movement, and in general, reposition on other teammates also helps Arden traverse on the maps. Blue units with Lancebreaker skill also help him a lot because Swordbreaker is a nuisance for Arden and it's pretty common in arena, so a blue unit can easily take care of the red units who run Swordbreaker and also take care of the Lance units who run Swordbreaker with the help of Lancebreaker's skill. Due to his low resistance, very common mages in the game can easily kill him, such as Reinhardt, and even a buff Nino can take him out pretty easily despite the weapons triangle disadvantage. Triangle Adept Noe can also take hits from him pretty well and finish him off. Effie can also easily take him on due to her bulk and Varied Fighter skill. It's not very easy to take hits from Arden, especially when he procs his Igneous or Bonfire, but still, Swordbreaker units can be annoying for him as he will not be able to quad attack them in the player phase and possibly not even proc his special. So that is going to conclude my unit review on Arden. If you enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like and do not forget to subscribe so that you do not miss out on more Fire Emblem Heroes content. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.
Somebody